is not about the numbers, it's not about the statistics, it's not even getting trophies for being number one in doing that or this, but what we managed to create of job opportunities through facilitation of the establishment of businesses in Egypt.
Government regulations can strangle businesses or help them thrive. The art of governance is to find that healthy balance between increasing speed and efficiency and assuring that business dealings will be fair and honest. The Doing Business project began in 2003 and has helped to place business regulatory reform on the agenda of governments. What Doing Business does is simple and powerful. It measures the time and cost involved in setting up, running, and closing a business. Countries are ranked based on the ease of doing business and their pace of reform. You quickly learn two things. First, what gets measured gets reformed. Second, the potential for cross-country learning is greatly increased. Doing Business is the World Bank Group's most widely cited report. 5 years later, it has become a major reference point for benchmarking business regulatory practices worldwide. Egypt was the top reformer according to Doing Business 2008.
Getting a license to start the work and to get a permit used to take weeks and weeks and months in Egypt before 2004-2005. When we introduced these reforms, now you can get the certificate of establishment within 72 hours.
Egypt reduced the capital required to start a business. It made it easier to get construction permits and created one-stop shops at ports and cut time for traders to import and export. Number 2, Croatia cut the time it takes to register property. Registration for pension and health plans can now be done online, and amendments to Croatia's insolvency law created professional requirements for bankruptcy trustees and instituted shorter timelines. The former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia eliminated the minimum capital requirement for startup. It sped up construction permits and simplified tax payment procedures. Georgia instituted stronger investor protections. A new insolvency law shortened time for reorganization, and the country's private credit bureau added payment information from retailers, utilities, and trade creditors. Colombia increased investor disclosure requirements. It instituted electronic tax filing, shortening time spent on paperwork by 41%. Saudi Arabia reduced the days needed for business startup and eliminated the minimum startup capital requirement. It launched a commercial credit bureau and cut the time needed for handling imports and exports. Bulgaria eased the tax burden on businesses and now allows paying taxes online. It also improved efficiency in inspecting buildings.
From an investor perspective, we have actually, for the International Finance Corporation, the private sector arm of the World Bank Group, looked at what would have happened if we had taken into account a little bit more the reform efforts of countries that we observe under the Doing Business project in making our equity investments. So if we had weighted our equity investments more to the countries that reform, as measured by the Doing Business project, we find that over the last 2-3 years we would have had a 30% outperformance on a risk-adjusted basis of our portfolio returns. What we have observed in the Doing Business project is that the ability to summarize complex regulatory environments in a number and in a ranking has raised the issue to the top agenda in policy making. This gives a chance for reform-minded ministers to do something, to develop a good debate about this and have something done in the country.